My world is now starting to take shape. I'm reasonably happy with it. Obviously, if I had more time, I would create many more blocks of land like this, going off into the distance, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10. And as you can see, in the background I've started to add trees. If I zoom in the foreground I've added some seagrass, the occasional rock. I've added some clouds as well, which you can probably hear. So it's starting to look a bit more entertaining, a bit more interesting. Now one of the things you can do, because we've raised our land, we can now put some water features as potential traps for our character to jump before we put our character on. So let's just remind ourselves how we did that. I'm going to go to the up down tool. I'm going to change that to a circle. I'm going to go to one of my pieces of raised land. I'll make that circle smaller using my left arrow key. And then I'm going to right mouse click to create a hole. If I now scroll and zoom in, you can see that's created a hole. Let's make that slightly bigger. So it's going to go across the width of my track. Just be careful not to go all the way through. Because I've made that hole there now, I can then go to my water feature, my water tool, and fill that hole gradually, carefully with a left mouse click with water. Now I've clicked one too many times, so the water has overflowed. Remember, if we right mouse click where we added the water initially, that will take that water level right back down again. Probably should add some lily pads. Let's add a couple of sets of lily pads just to warn my character that water is there. In later videos I'll show you how to turn that water into a trap, so that if the character touches it, he will lose some points, or maybe even some health. What we need to do now is add our main character. Now the character I'm going to use this time is the cycle. Let's place him on. Just make sure that when you place your character, I've got a rogue coin there, so I'll delete that one in a minute, that your character is placed in a line directly with the coins that he's got to collect. We also need to rotate him, so I'm going to click on him, right mouse click on him and rotate so that he's facing the right direction. As you can see, once I've rotated him, it's obvious to me that he's slightly to the right. That looks about right. Let's look at that. Let's just rotate the world just to make sure. And my cycle is ready now to collect his coins and get some points. We now have our main character ready to start the game. We have a line of coins. We have a water trap here. So we can add some very basic code to this character now, so at least we can test to see whether he bumps into these coins and gets points successfully. So remember, to code our character we need to click on the object tool, we need to right click on the character we want to program, and we click on program. So when we use our keyboard, which remember by default are our arrow keys, we want our character to move, and let's have him moving quickly. At this point I'm going to escape, just to draw your attention, and this is really important. If we notice here, our compass here is set to north-south. Our world, when we created it, is running east-west or west-east. Really important that when we code our character we remember this. So if we go back to our character now and right click and program him, we can limit his movement, if we click on limit, to move east-west, which means that when we look at the game from the side, he will move left and right only. We also need him to bump into and score points from the coins. So when we bump into the coins, first thing we need to do is eat them so they disappear. We also need then to score some points by doing this. Now, one of the things you can do in Kodu is indent a line here, which basically serves as an AND function. We don't need to repeat then this when code here. Just click on do, game, add a score, how many? Let's go for 10 points per coin. So when I bump into a coin, I eat it and I score 10 points. Let's escape out of that. We need to test that in a minute. Before we do, however, we're going to set our view of the world. Now this is really important as well. Without this, the game won't work successfully. We need to set the camera so that when we play the game, we play it as I'm looking at the game now. Side on, watching our character move left and right. To do that, we need to click on the whole world settings here. Third one down. And we need to click on the middle one, which is fixed offset. We then need to click on the X to set the camera position. So using your mouse pad, page up, page down to zoom in or out, or your roller ball on your mouse, you need to position the world as you want to look at it, and then hit enter to lock that in place. If I escape out of that, hopefully now when I press play, I'll be looking at that world from a side-on view. If I press page up, page down now, it doesn't allow me to zoom in and out, which is what we want. We want it locked in that position. I'm going to use my arrow keys now. To left, it's working. Right, it's working. If I press up and down, you see you can't move backwards and forwards because we've locked his movement into moving left and right, east and west only. So let's move. As you can see, then gaining points by bumping and eating the coins, and our points are increasing top right.